The Meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan. Here with PC Mike and the Giggler. Yes, it's time for the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. It's why you came. It's why you're here. It's certainly why I'm here today. I just said it during the break. Thank God we got through all that bullshit so we can talk about this movie. Talk about James Gunn, The Suicide Squad. Saw it on HBO Max on Thursday myself, and then Andy and I saw it at the IMAX at Ronnie's in Marcus Warenberg Theater here in St. Louis, down there off South Lindbergh. For you local folks, I really like to tag those local theaters because they do a good job. They work hard, and we bought our tickets through Fandango. I kind of want to bring people into the fold of how we buy tickets and go to the movies.
I like that because I also use Fandango.
Yeah,
and remember, like how confused we were of just walking in trying to figure out how to get in.
Well, yeah, it's because of
like,
it's because of the pandemic, and everything is always. We've been there literally 4 weeks in a row, which is hilarious. And every time we've gone, the ticket structure has been different. Either there's a kiosk at the beginning where you can like put in your code. That didn't work this time. Or you go to the front desk, or which wasn't this time. This time it was, meet the attendant 50 yards down the thing. Thank gosh, Carrie is with us to read that sign.
Direct and read.
Yeah, she goes, come on, guys. It's right. Here's the sign. So, yeah, we saw The Suicide Squad. Here we are. Can't wait to talk about it. Oh, my gosh. So much fun. Second time, I think, was even better. And we'll kick us off with gut reactions as always. But first up, let's just kind of rehash exactly what happened with this movie. First of all, let's start with you, PC Mike. You saw this over the weekend. How'd this go for you, man? Just tell us some reactions.
I mean, first reaction, it's one of, if not the best DC film in the last decade, I would say. I mean, the first Wonder Woman's up there, but I mean, this was fun, nonstop.
Oh my gosh!
And not just for like big DC superhero people. I mean, my wife loved it. Carrie watched it.
Carrie also loved it.
Yeah.
Carrie went and saw it with us last night too, a second time.
I love that.
All right, man. Great instant reaction, Giggler. How about you? Even though I know because I've been with you, tell the listeners how it's been going for you.
Oh man, I honestly, I'd watch it again today.
Yeah,
if I had the time, but
I think we're going to be dancing around the word perfect here probably today a little bit, and we're going to be talking about maybe why it is or why it isn't. Let's just do a little rehash. I like to set the stage a little bit. Here we are in August of 2021. James Gunn directed this thing. It released officially on August 6th on not just theaters, but also HBO Max. Produced by Charles Roven, Peter Safran. Production company, of course, DC Films, Atlas Entertainment, and it's based on the Suicide Squad. Created by John Ostrander, if you didn't know. And what a cool guy that must be to come up with a group like this. Looking at the poster here on Facebook and YouTube, some of the best fan art and posters and promotions for a movie I've ever seen. DC went all out. James Gunn went all out. And yeah, man, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. There was an original Suicide Squad movie. You might remember. What was that? 2013? No, way later than that. 15, 16 maybe?
Like
yeah, Will Smith was in it. Also, was a lot of the characters that are in this movie that came back. So you had Margot Robbie in there.
2016.
2016. I'm not going to focus on that, but I just want to address that it did happen. This is the Suicide Squad we're talking about. 2021, a full-on reboot. You don't need to see that one. You don't need to see Birds of Prey. You don't need to see anything in the DC universe at all to enjoy this movie and appreciate it. And that's exactly why I loved it. You see these characters that you never met, some that you're like, oh, you recognize them right off the bat, and then you feel it immediately. This is a new movie. This is going to be something fresh. It's going to hit you with what you need to know. It's going to tell you about what's going on. And first 10 minutes of the movie, Amanda Waller sets it up with Michael Rooker's character, Savant. That's how the movie opens, man. Just the Savant guy, white-haired Michael Rooker throwing this ball around. Spoiler alert for the movie if we didn't say it. I don't think we did, but we're going to be talking all about it. Amanda Waller says in the first 10 minutes, hey, you know the deal. Come work for me or I'll blow up your brain. And then if you win, you're free. There you go. Suicide Squad explained. I mean, this poster, I'm speechless right now. I don't even know where to begin with how this goes. Giggler, talk to me, man.
It's just funny to think about how many of these people are like in these posters and did a lot of like media for the movie, but then they were just gone in the first 10 minutes.
It's so funny. James Gunn said it like many times. Don't get attached to anybody. Who do we lose in the first 20? Let's just go ahead and say SNL guy. Pete Davidson.
Davidson.
Black.
Traitor.
what was his name? Black. Yeah, Traitor. He's like, I'm the one that called you guys. Gets blasted in the face.
His head was just
Richard Dick Hertz, Blackguard.
Blackguard. there you go.
Blackguard. We never even found out if he even had powers. We got Weasel.
Weasel was
What
hilarious.
the hell?
Did you guys see Weasel's penis?
I don't think. I guess you saw it in IMAX.
In
pointed-
IMAX, you
He
couldn't help
pointed
it.
out to me, and I was like, "Oh
I go,
my
look,
god!"
I go, look, there's its penis.
It was
Captain Boomerang, he was in the first one. He came back. He's gone pretty much immediately. Cool.
Javelin.
Oh my gosh, dude. That scene second time around was just as funny.
Dude.
Harley Quinn just for what? Hold this javelin for who?
TDK, and it wouldn't tell.
oh my god!
He wouldn't tell the names. But it's the,
TDK.
but it's the detachable kid. And he like throws his arms. And he's like slapping him.
Rick Flag, who's in this, he goes, TDK, those guys. And he goes, all right. Boop, boop. His arm. And it's just like, and the soldiers are just like mildly annoyed.
And then I mean, Savant can't take it, and he runs off. But what they did, I mean, are we doing a little plot?
Let's go.
I mean, Amanda Waller set up one group to fail
Yep.
and another group to succeed.
Yep.
So you see all this massacre happening, and you don't know what's happening, and they cut.
She was cut to team 2.
Boom. And
Boom.
You get John Cena.
Talking about a bag of dicks.
You get Idris Elba. You get
King Shark.
King Shark, who was Sylvester Stallone, voiced King Shark.
Amazing.
The Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot
and
Man.
Ratcatcher 2.
Ratcatcher 2, team 2. Yeah, let's give it up. What would you say? I mean, it's got to be at least, if it's not the best DC movie of all time, it's at least the best first 20 minutes of any DC movie. Like, what an entrance. You get that team 2, and it's like, boom, this is the Suicide Squad. I also want to address the elephant in the room that, yeah, we had a big talk last week about theaters and streaming services and the big battle, and I made a big case for, like, if you're a big fan of something, which I'm not like a diehard Suicide Squad fan, but I love DC, and Thursday night,
You had to.
we were laying in bed, I'm looking at HBO, and it literally is just like, push play, and I look at Carrie, I'm like, this is how we're watching this right now.
You have to.
Yeah.
I read a big
don't
article.
blame
They
you.
said you can't. They're saying it's a box office failure, but then people are like, you can't say that. People get it for free. It's not like a Disney feature that you have to pay $30 extra. It's free.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
pay
yeah.
$10 a month.
No
And
one should
free.
call this a box office failure.
Well, let's go ahead and address that. There's a lot of elephants in this room today. The box office, it didn't perform that much, but like, let's just talk about what the numbers are. So this came out of got an article here from Hollywood Reporter, and it looks like the box office on this thing in North America, this may have been updated since I have it, Mike. So if you see something new, let me know. $26.5 million in North America, 72 million globally. So
Yeah,
just
it's about 72.
about 72. For a frame of reference, I thought it'd be good to bring in a couple recent films. So we have Black Widow, right? Looks like that opened for 80 million on the big screen. And F9, Fast and Furious 9, was 70 million.
But because
These are US.
you
totals.
could not get those without paying, Fast 9 you couldn't get anywhere, correct?
Correct.
And Black Widow, you had to pay $30 at home to watch
It
it.
would have been $30 on top of your Disney Plus subscription.
This is with your subscription already.
Of
So
cour-
it's just hard to even.
And according to
You can put
Brandon
it away.
Davis, according to Brandon Davis at Comic Book, Mike, to your point, he said that there were over 2.8 million U.S. households tuned in over the film's Friday to Sunday release.
That's the number right there. And
2.8 million.
however many of those are new subscribers that stay subscribers, that will be there.
Are you
gauge
doing
of
math over
success.
there? I hope you are, because that's exactly what I was thinking. If you figure average movie ticket for the United States is what, $10, probably, right? Because it's like, you might have the cheaper $8 states, and you got like $15 movie tickets at places.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
easy.
two people in each of
That's
those.
easy math.
That's
2.8.
households even,
that's-
not people. So
I just-
280 million.
Well, I just did 2.8 million
Yep.
times 30, which would 2 tickets, or if you did premium access with Disney.
I like that.
Yeah,
Eight-
because that's a single person, or you're also accumulating maybe some families in there.
So $84 million.
So you're,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, wow! When you talk about it like that, that changes the whole conversation.
And they said, like, Warner Brothers gave them the slate, HBO, to do this to get their subscribers up. and clearly it's worked.
It's working. People, well, especially right now. I mean, you got these variants happening. We can't ignore what's happening in the real world at this time. A lot of people are blaming that, but like blaming, I'm like, I don't know if we need to be blaming anything. You put the box office with the HBO streaming, that seems like a fine release weekend to me.
Oh yeah,
And
People are calling it a failure though, but they're only talking about
they're not. They're looking at it the numbers. They're not looking at the deeper picture.
They're not.
and look at this Peacemaker. Is gonna have a show that's gonna come out in the next year. So I don't really know exactly when, but
January, I think.
who's gonna after this movie? Who's gonna cancel their HBO Max
Oh,
with that on the horizon?
Well, and
Not
now
me.
and they're the ones coming out first saying like we're not going to charge you for these movies. Man, this is man. Like I said, we are living this. But getting back on the movie itself, I mean, I gotta say though, tell me if I'm wrong, Andy. Seeing this thing in IMAX was a better experience. It
so
was
beautiful.
so beautiful. Like the scene. Let's talk about Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie showed up for this movie. I think she almost stole the movie. How much? Like I just wanted her on screen all the time. But man, getting all these other characters mixed in. Her she goes on that killing spree after she kills basically one of the bad guys in the movie, the president that wants to marry her.
Yep.
Because he starts talking about killing kids. She's like, I'm not having it. She starts going through and has this beautiful scene that is one of the most unique things I've ever seen, especially like in a movie, a superhero movie, you would call it. Just flowers pouring out everywhere she's killing everyone. So she has a gun, then a spear. Every time she stabs someone, she's moving through this big, beautiful room. And on IMAX, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Crazy beautiful. This movie's hilarious too, by the way. You got Idris Elba in here playing Bloodsport. Were either of you guys familiar with Bloodsport coming into this?
No,
a little bit, but not probably like you were.
Not me.
That guy.
Really?
Not me.
Even though he put Superman in the ICU with the kryptonite bullet.
Trust me. I heard it and I was like, I looked at Carrie and gave her the eyes like, whoa, you know. But what do you know? I mean, this is like a semi-famous guy.
I mean, hand up, I get him, Deadshot,
And-
Deathstroke, like all of them kind of mixed together.
and
in
they
a
all
bag.
they all wear like similar
Yeah,
stuff.
and they're all
too.
like shooter guys.
That's fair.
And like,
or swords,
Yeah.
shooter and swords.
but yeah, are we still doing the plot? Or are we just not talking about
Bounce around. Whatever comes coming to mind. Yeah. What do you got in the plot part that you want to talk about?
these guys? So group 2 makes it out, and they
Mhm.
have to start on the mission to figure out to. Do they tell them what it is, or
Yeah.
do they just let them go?
Essentially, it's this. There's that was the part that was confusing me for the first time, and seeing a second time helped a lot. Was there's this country off the coast of South America. I think it's South America, and they've been overruled by these tyrants, essentially.
Mhm.
And the country hasn't had freedom in many years. And there's this tyrant, and the tyrant figured out this program that NASA discovered back in like the 70s or something called Operation Starfish. Project Starfish. And then you see the footage of it, and this is where we meet the Thinker.
Yep.
And the Thinker's helping this government out because they're kind of a shady government that doesn't let their people vote. And what we see is the footage of Starro. This is what we find out the name of the star being this alien starfish, which I've never been aware of.
Now,
Looking at you two. And
No,
NASA
no,
finds
no.
it can spit out these little mini versions of itself. They suck to people's faces, and then it can control the brain. And the bad guys are basically planning to use this to take over the world. Amanda Waller in the U.S. government has sent the Suicide Squad there, the elite bad guys from Belle Reve, which I'm very familiar with Belle Reve. This is where they always keep like enhanced individuals in the DC comics. Team 1 and Team 2 of the Suicide Squad to go there. What they are actually going after is to, I mean, we don't find out this till the end, but what you think is, oh, we got to take down this bad guy. They have this big alien star, and we got to do it. And I love the way they tell this story because
I do too.
they do a lot of back and forth. So you meet the two teams, and then it does 3 days earlier. And it kind of walks you through the prison. We
Mhm.
meet Bloodsport's daughter, who they equally hate each other. I loved it.
Love the like just going back and forth.
Just screaming. Got Pete Davidson throwing, little toilet paper off his shoe to Idris Elba. I love the introduction of the characters. Like, this is a big joke, I felt like, on the first movie a little bit, where the guy goes, one, how hilarious is the team of people that works around Amanda Waller? All of her, like,
Mhm.
her crew. You got that big, burly, redheaded beard guy. And he goes, the camera goes, like, right to him, and he goes, who's Bloodsport? And it goes back to her.
Yeah.
Like, okay, someone asked because she would always, like in the first one, not try to compare him, but it's hard not to sometimes. But she says, this is Bloodsport, trained by his dad to be a killer since the day he was born.
It was good.
Anything in his hand is a deadly weapon. And then we get the introduction for Peacemaker. And it's the same exact thing. And Idris Elba goes, is this a joke? He does exactly what I do.
But better.
But better.
God,
Yeah,
I love him.
let's get into it. John Cena, you two big wrestling fans. This guy's been making it in the acting game for a while now. I mean, I just saw him in F9. How was he in this movie? I really want to hear someone talk about it.
I think it's the best he's ever been in a movie.
Hands down. Agreed.
James Gunn said he is the best actor he's ever worked with off improv.
Off improv.
Like to improv different things, do improvisation.
This
James
blows my
Gunn says he's
mind.
the best he's ever had.
That's a wild statement. I mean, coming from James Gunn.
And then I think it came out that Batista was possibly going to be Peacemaker, but he was busy. So then John Cena got the role. And John Cena's like, sometimes you have to.
There were parts where he felt kind of John Cena, but like I know we're like kind of going through the plot, but kind of getting to the end. Like by the end of this movie, I'm 100% in.
Oh,
Like I'm so in on that character specifically. Even I'm just like the big fight scene with him and Flag in the end. I'm sitting here going, this guy is scary a little bit.
I love him.
What'd
That's
you
all I
think?
can say. I love. Like I
You had a good
can't wait
time.
for that show. I don't.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Peacemaker.
so good.
let's get through the story and then break it down a little bit.
All right.
So
good.
So we're out of Team 1. So Team 1, we had Captain Boomerang, Weasel, Harley Quinn.
They were Team 1, but they were
Flag,
the B team.
Javelin,
Yeah.
TTK, and Savant. 2 of them make it out.
Yeah. Harley
Harley-
and Rick Flag.
Rick Flag.
That's it.
Team 2, we're going with them. We get their backstories. We're going with them. They make it through the jungle. They find a
Camp.
a camp that is of terrorists.
They think it's the bad people,
They take them all out.
but it's not the bad people.
It's not. It's the resistance.
Oh,
They get to the
yeah.
door and they find Frag, and
He's drinking tea.
yeah, he's like, let me get my men together, and they're like, oh,
They go, she goes, why didn't my people alert me you were here? And
There were no people.
there weren't any people. we didn't see anybody.
so
Like,
then
Massacred.
they make their way.
King Shark almost eats Ratcatcher 2.
Yeah, and they have to talk about being friends, and
You get John Cena, Peacemaker, and his whitey tighties.
Oh God.
King Shark gives him a toy too at one point, like
A little,
a Peacemaker. This is later on, I think.
he makes a bomb out
Yeah.
of Peacemaker. But okay, yeah. So,
anyways,
they
they-
get through there. They team up. They're like, okay, we're gonna head into the town, and then they gotta save Harley first.
Yes, and then Harley's just like walking down the street. They're getting ready to climb up the thing, and then she's just there, and she's like, "Well, what are you guys doing?" Like, "Well, we're coming to get you."
We're here to save you.
And then she's like, "Oh,
I
I
can-
go back up."
I can go back up there.
And then they get to the Thinker because we have a lot to break through.
So then it's time to go to the bar and wait for the Thinker. So they found out that the Thinker works for this bad government, and that we can find him if we go to this bar and wait for him. And this was just a feel good,
Yeah.
10-minute sequence.
having drinks,
Having drinks, laughing.
coming together.
He's like, we're gonna be here for a few hours,
I did feel bad for King Shark that he had to stay back.
and they showed him in the van, like
Just
hanging
kinda
out.
sitting
That
there.
really sad.
Yeah, it was sad. I didn't expect to get those feels.
What about the little waving rat? You meet the little waving rat from Ratcatcher 2. Yeah, okay. So then they get the Thinker, and now it's time to head to Jotunheim. This is the big building in the middle, big tall building where they're like, okay, we're gonna go figure this thing out. You get Milton, who's their van driver.
Oh man, that's one of the best recurring jokes of the whole movie.
That was so good. Milton.
Who's
No!
Milton?
Who's Milton?
She's like,
Milton dies.
You're telling, yeah, Milton dies. She goes, you're telling me we're with a guy named Milton?
He's like, he's been with us the whole Polka Dot Man. He's been with us the whole time.
How good is Polka Dot Man?
I think
Great.
he's my favorite person in the whole movie.
I think he might be the best one. I mean, just his whole backstory. His mom worked at Star Labs, was obsessed with making her kids into
Superheroes.
Half of them died, half didn't. He gets dots all over his glowing dots. I love it. They're like, hey, what's going on with your face? He's like, I fell.
He has to release them twice a day.
Has to release them, and they're just like, they just destroy whatever they touch.
You can't control them, I don't think, once they're out.
Yeah, once they're out, he just like unleash. He's
Yeah.
just unleashing them. But he was really great. I really want to see more of that character. And I mean, we're getting to to the end here, like just the big part before.
And then we find out that
Yeah.
it is Starro the Conqueror. It's a giant alien starfish. We start to unravel that, but then we find out one team has a mission, but then one other person has a secret mission.
inside
the mission.
And that was Peacemaker. Turns out Rick Flag finds out that, hey, man, your government. The Thinker tells him. He's like, first of all, the Thinker's really messed up.
Very.
He kept this starfish. Who had the saddest story of all? I think it was a starfish.
Yeah.
Just
He
got
gets
yanked out of space, brought back home, and back to our home. And what happens? Thinker locks him up and tests the human subjects who are under the starfish's control in all sorts of nasty ways, like operation stuff, sex stuff, like really. I mean, and hey, we even talked about, man, this is a R-rated movie.
Sex stuff? What?
Yeah, he was like, and he makes a couple jokes about like how like perverted he is a little bit. But it's a hard R. I mean, you got boobs in this. You got
F-bombs.
You got willies.
Oh yeah, this is bad.
This
is like
This
has everything.
Weasel willies.
You got weasel willies. You see, you get one guy in the camp that they like destroyed. They weren't supposed to.
Oh yeah.
Just flat out, there it is.
Dongs out.
Lots of gore. Peacemaker when he's in killing mode.
Yep.
Oh,
Same for
so great.
for Harley Quinn scene you talked about. There was like 20 people that just died in like a 1 minute.
Just
span.
murks them.
Yeah.
So Rick Flag finds out from the Thinker. Okay, hey man, you're actually sent here to destroy evidence, and Peacemaker shows his colors immediately.
Yep.
Waller brought me here to make sure that this went down, pretty much knowing that he'd probably be the only one to come back, essentially.
He's the most loyal. He is.
He's loyal, and what's he say? He's like, I do love peace, and I'll kill every man, woman,
Yep.
and child until
Great
I get it.
Yes.
They have a great battle. Peacemaker ends up coming out on top.
Comes out on top, kills Flag.
But
Glass to the heart.
Ratcatcher 2 sees him. Bloodsport versus Peacemaker.
Bloodsport falls 8 stories, one at a time.
Boom.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Then
And
that's what they do
where's he
to-
land? Peacemaker's got the gun to Ratcatcher 2. And this scene hits. And you know why? Because like they did such a good job with this story.
They set up what happened before though.
Yeah,
Did
they
you-
did.
I mean, you guys
On
have
the-
seen it twice.
On the bus.
They shoot at each other at the exact same time.
Oh, this part, yes.
Bloodsport's bullet goes inside of Peacemaker's, hits him, he's down.
Right in the neck.
But before, Peacemaker said, I have a better shot than you.
Yes.
He said, well, how if we're the exact same? He said, my bullet's smaller and will go through your bullet. When in reality,
Yeah.
was
Bloodsport.
foot.
Yes.
Dude, Bloodsport, his like suit and everything was
Awesome.
so badass.
Unbelievable. His guns?
Mhm.
Like not his arms, but his like regular guns.
Yeah, I was like, I want one of those.
Like how does he put this thing together? They're like the most advanced technology driven Legos. He just hooks them in. They're like
Yeah.
kind of
And
like
that-
Iron Man nano parts a little bit.
Yeah, the helmet it just seems like so simple, but it looks so cool.
Puts Peacemaker down. Like this character was great. I mean, he ended up being just a badass. They
Mhm.
get the drive, saves it. Flag's dead. Peacemaker's presumably dead. And it's time to go back home. Amanda Waller says, you got what you came for. If anything, this war that's happening at this town will be good for us.
Just leave it.
Just leave it. Just make this big mess. Let this big giant star called Starro the Conqueror
Kill everyone.
and take over everyone. How about King Shark? What's his name? Anawe?
Anawe.
Yeah.
Good job.
He's in that big water room and he meets those little friendly
Yeah, they all
things.
follow
And
him.
once they get out, they start attacking him. He falls. King Shark, by far the toughest of the group.
Mhm.
Oh,
Can't
God.
really be. He's like indestructible.
Kind of like a Hulk,
Yes,
Smash, King Shark, or Anawe.
that's
Eat.
Num Num.
Num num.
Nom nom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too. The second time around, especially, I was like, this is like straight out of Avengers.
So you see these bad guys, quote unquote, fight to save this town and take down Starro.
Polka Dot Man, dude.
It's-
He lets it loose on his giant. Everywhere he looks, it's his mom.
Yeah.
The revolution of them hitting Amanda Waller in the head with the I don't know what it was. Like
Yeah, because Waller was going to execute them all because
That-
they weren't listening to orders. And then her
Yes.
team, her misfit team, hits her in the head, knocks her out,
I
lets her
saw
go,
that.
gives
I
them
was-
directions.
That was great.
so happy.
Hey, what a villain.
Yeah.
Like she nailed it. She's just like a hard, badass woman.
Yeah, she's like not like super evil, but she's just like on that line of good, and she's on the other side, and she'll do whatever it takes to get the job done.
And the guy even says it. The funny guy's like, "Hey, you're not gonna really hurt his daughter, will you?" And she goes, "You don't have the first idea about what I wouldn't do." And he's like, "Oh shit!" But I was like, "Hey, you work at the Suicide Squad thing, man. You better, you got to nut up."
So they conquer it. The rats
hold
eat
on.
him up from
We're
the
skipping
inside.
through some big parts here. One of my favorite parts of the movie: Polka Dot Man unleashes his polka dots on his giant mom, aka Starro's foot.
Yes.
Here comes a cuss word for you folks that are keeping track and got kids. You go, I'm a motherfucking superhero. And then, bam! And Carrie loved this movie too, by the way. I was looking over at her every once in a while. She's literally laughing. She's smiling. She's like, you guys call it a superhero movie. You know, she's like, this is a good movie. This is just a good movie. But, you know, she's like, that right there, him yelling that line, like, that's it. Like, these guys are just like this other group of people. Like, she picked up on the exact premise of where the Suicide Squad came from. Ragtag group people that don't want to be heroes. And then here they are just trying to, like, lay it down for this town. And, yeah, dude, big ending. Ratcatcher.
Yep.
Who turns out, you know.
Harley Quinn pokes the hole.
Ooh, dives into the Starro's eye.
That was
And then all the
weird.
rats eat it out from the inside.
She has that flashback to her and her dad, Taika Waititi. And they're
I
up
thought
on
that
the
was him.
and
It
it was
was?
up. They're up on the building, and she's like, "Why rats, Daddy?" And he's like, "Because if rats, the most revolted, nasty creatures in the whole world, have a purpose, then surely I do."
I'm calling
line.
it. Ratcatcher. Taika Waititi gets his own spin-off show.
I saw something.
Pretty cool.
I saw something about him wanting to direct one of the next DC movies, and he's been big in the MCU.
I think that's
Come to me.
what their end game is going to be. There's just going to be a lot of spin-off shows of these people.
How crazy it'll be if MCU just and then DC. Oh, what are we talking about? I don't even.
Hey, let's not
Let's not
go there.
I'm not. I didn't say anything.
This is 1 week where there was a great DC thing and I mean, comparatively subpar
Yes, lukewarm Marvel thing.
But this is not. This is only temporary. They can't
Yeah,
keep up the pace. Put the pedal to the metal 52 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
But
So then at the end,
Yeah, let's see. Where do we leave all these guys? That's fun. All right.
Bloodsport has the drive. He frees his teammates. And he uses that drive as leverage.
Yeah, he calls her and he says, "We're all free now."
Yep.
And we won't tell anyone about this. Harley's kind of upset because Rick Flag's like basically dying wish was that like get this out, but he's like, "Hey man, you
We're
can't
out.
win them all. We're out. We're out of prison.
We saved everybody.
Yeah, we
They
saved the
they
city."
set up the elections. They did all that stuff with other people.
Yep.
Um,
That girl's like, "That's my dad."
and then they're free. And then we have some post-credit scenes.
All right, post-credit scenes, and we'll just go around and just nerd out about this thing. So
First one.
first one,
oh yeah,
Weasel is not dead.
I was gonna correct you guys earlier, but I was like, wait, that's a spoiler.
He wakes up on the beach. No one's around him. The fight's over.
It's been over, it seems like, for like 2 days.
Yeah. And he just gets up and wanders into the woods.
He's just a heinous creature that can probably live through just about anything.
I want to know all about him.
I
Like,
do
where'd he
too.
come
He
from?
killed kids.
Yeah, he goes, all I can tell you is he killed 27 kids. It's like, we're working on him. He's one of the team.
And then the big one.
And the big one, just the pure setup of what we knew was coming, but to see it played out on screen was pretty cool. You get the Amanda Waller, like, B team, the guys that were working with her in a hospital, and he goes, "Why do we got to talk to this prick? And who is it? It's Peacemaker. He's alive. He had a heartbeat when they found him. He's in a hospital." Anything else with that?
Nope.
That was it, right? It was just showing him, like, this is not over.
Let me flip back to Weasel. Do you guys know who plays him?
No.
This is my favorite thing.
I guess Sean Gunn.
Yes.
I knew
Is
it.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that you could guess from I saw him too, and I was like,
Because he's
that is Sean Gunn.
isn't he he's like Groot, I think, or he does some stuff in the
He's,
Marvel movies too, where he wears like a lot of CGI friendly stuff. He always has
Who
like
was he? I read about it. I'll look it up as we talk, but
Okay, so that's the movie. That's what happened, and I'm sure we'll think of more as we kind of go around the table here and just talk about exactly
he's
what
Rocket.
he is.
Motion capture.
He's
performer.
motion capture. Yeah, he's motion capture Rocket,
Yeah.
and then Bradley Cooper's the voice.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this movie, man. About like how we feel about it. Let's get some ratings out here. But just of course, I'm trying to like really work out what it was about this movie that worked. I think exactly what it comes down to is one, James Gunn is good at this. He's proven it with Guardians of the Galaxy, and he came in and he did something totally new, totally fresh. I think it helped that this movie did better than everything else DC has done. The one thing that it's done better is that it didn't get caught up in its own exposition of like trying to explain to you why the main character is the way they are, or like giving you like, here's all this stuff about Batman and Superman that leads to this big fight in Batman versus Superman, where like this was just like drop you in with you don't really know any of them, first of all. And I felt like it helped also that they were in a country that like none of us really knew that well, because like nobody knows them. So it was just like they were just themselves telling the story, and with just really great writing. Good writing, like not too much, like exactly what you need.
Kind of a clear villain who was bad.
But also like kind of like who's bad. Oh, there's a couple bad guys. Okay. Because you had like her and then the Thinker and then the presidents.
But it wasn't like, what was it in the first Suicide Squad? Enchantress or something like that?
And like her brother from another dimension.
Oh, yeah, that was
dumb.
It's not even
dumb, and they were like in some city and no one. Yeah, exactly. Like that's I really didn't want to, because I was like, this movie did just fine.
The comedy hit in this,
very funny.
The R, thank God it was R.
It had to be.
Just pushed it over.
Oh yeah,
had to be pushed it over. You're right, because it made.
Because I think the first Suicide Squad was PG-13.
Had to be.
We're gonna try to sell as many tickets as we can.
Yep. Yeah, that's true, because that's the big decision you're making with a movie like this. Is like, listen, you got a guy named Polka Dot Man, but this is rated R.
Yeah.
Don't be confused.
How hilarious was it every time all of the people were his moms?
Hilarious.
I loved it so
like
much.
literally Peacemaker, like as his mom.
King Shark. That was my favorite one.
One of the best. Yeah, one of the best shot scenes was Polka Dot Man dancing in the club.
Yes,
they're all dancing.
They're all getting it.
And the camera, and then he's dancing with all the versions of his mom. There's one on the far left, if you watch it again, that just has this massive beard and like it's green, and she's just like really getting it.
That actor just has the life. He's been in every universe of superheroes possible.
Everywhere.
He was in the CW Arrowverse.
He's in he was in Gotham. He's in in Marvel stuff.
He's that guy that you can't, like, you don't know his name.
Don't know his name still. Who is it? Let's say it right now.
David Dalmastian or something like that.
You're right. It is David something. We'll get it for him right now. We'll
he was in Dark Knight as a cop.
He isn't even like...
He's not even listed? Polka Dot Man? Who is Polka Dot Man Suicide Squad?
He's right here. He's not in like the main part. David Dasmalchian?
Andy was right.
We had it. That's exactly what I said.
That's what you said.
So he's in the Dark Knight. I'm trying to think.
Like, I want to see so much more on that character.
Ant-Man.
Yep, Ant-Man. Yep.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
He's one of the two buddies, like three buddies.
Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1. Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2. Like,
damn, he's in the cartoons too.
Yeah. The Flash.
Yep, that makes sense. He's all over.
I think he was a villain. I can't remember which one.
He must be friends with whoever's like in this world.
He was
even though but he's that good too. You know,
he was Abracadabra in the Flash.
I mean, he's in Batman. He's in the Christian Bale Batmans.
Yeah, he's in. That's everything.
I want to see Polka Dot Man. I want to like this. This movie was the first thing in DC that made me think like, oh, I want spinoffs. I want to see this Polka Dot Man guy. I want to see more of Nawe. I mean, this Margot Robbie. I said it during Logan's letter this past week, but you know, if I was on the fence about Harley Quinn at all, not to say I really was, maybe I was a little bit. I just wasn't a diehard fan. I'm not like this one. I'm not this guy that like loves Harley Quinn so much. After this movie though, she's unbelievable. Like I said, she almost stole the show a few times where I'm just going like, I want to watch her the entire time.
I think she saves those other movies for being unwatchable though.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, if she's not in it, they're just bad.
That's true. At the same time, like sometimes when she talks, I'm like, this is stupid.
Sometimes.
Like when she made the comment about the angels splooging, I was like, that's very weird.
That's her.
That was the point. That was her. Well, and Carrie said like it's an interesting character, right? Because it seems like Harley Quinn has to ride this line of like being smart but ditzy, but also like tough and brave and strong, but also like friend and a caring. Like she's like so many things.
Because I think that's the character because she's not there. She is a doctor. She is a psychiatrist.
Right.
But the Joker broke her, so now she's just all looped.
Yeah, she's getting tortured, and they're shocking her with that stick. And I was like, you're not going to get anywhere with this. Well, What else? What do you guys think? What do you guys love about this movie? What do you hate about it? I mean, what do you guys? I'm trying to like picture the rating in my head, and it's
You want
hard.
to do ratings? Go around and
Let's
talk
go.
a little
Let's
bit.
just do it. Let's just see where it goes. Go ahead, Mike.
Score rating 3.75.
Woo!
Whoa, he threw a second number in there.
I like it.
Third number. I like it.
I don't think there's many things wrong with this movie. I think it's below the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's right there for me.
And it's its own movie.
It's its own movie. The characters I love, and I'm glad I remembered to say this. They basically said, all right, here's characters that you know. Here's Captain Boomerang. Here's this. You know
Yeah.
what? Clean slate. They're gone.
They're out of here.
Here's your new Suicide Squad. Love how they did it.
But we're gonna keep Harley and Rick.
We're going to keep the guys. Yeah. The main. Well, not Rick.
Not
anymore.
Rick though.
Damn.
Good
Yeah.
point though.
That stung.
Yeah. Here they are. Oh, all right. That's done.
That's
we're not.
over.
Or we washed our hands with that. Now we're starting over. James Gunn. I looked it up. The Peacemaker comes out in 2022 January.
Wow.
He wrote all 8 episodes and directed most of them.
Oh man. Oh man.
See?
And like, how is that show gonna go? It's got to be like flashback mixed with future, like current state, right? Him like all messed up after this movie, but then like flashback to his life of like why he is the way he is.
And then the back and forth between Peacemaker and Bloodsport, great. Polka Dot Man, stole scenes.
No one likes a show off
King Shark.
unless
yeah,
what you're showing off is dope as fuck.
Yes. 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 Yes.
King
Thank you for
Shark,
remembering that.
awesome.
Yeah.
I cared about King Shark by the end.
Yep.
I loved Weasel. Every time I looked, Rachel
I did too.
was just cracking up the whole time he was on the screen. And at the end, like him running away at the very end,
Yeah.
made it. But yeah, there's not much wrong with this. Maybe next time, I know I said I like the villain, but maybe there's, I don't know, a little too cartoony of a villain, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
But that's it.
A little cheese.
Yeah.
And
But
you
yeah.
gotta have a little bit of it because this movie's so ridiculous.
For sure.
Like
Yeah,
the
if it's-
ridiculousness of all of it is what makes it what it is. I feel like.
But I think this is going to jumpstart something. And I can't wait to see it.
Well, yeah, I'll get into mine. Andy, let's go to you. I think you should start with your rating because. Sorry, lost sound there. You can start with your rating, and then you can see how like it gets your mind going.
Yeah.
So why don't you kick off with that?
All right. 3.6.
Woo! You just knew.
I decided that Friday after I watched it. So,
I wrote down mine too last week. Okay.
But yeah, I echo just 99% of what Mike just said.
Mm-hmm.
I would put it below. I'll put it above Batman Begins on the Nolan
I could see
trilogy.
that.
But I mean, those other two movies, like Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, like,
Can't.
not many movies are ever gonna beat those.
I think
That's so
it's
true.
I think it's on par with like
Those are 4 O's or 3 9s.
Batman Returns area.
Yeah,
Like
no,
right
I mean,
around there.
I'm gonna watch this multiple times just as a rotation of like a lot of the original Batman movies, and exactly like we just said, the Nolan verse. Like if those movies are on TV, I see it's on. If I see it on HBO, I can put that movie on at any time from front to back of that movie, and I'll have a good time. I think this is going to be the same, where it's just going to be on. Assuming it's going to be on regular HBO, not someday.
It's only on HBO Max
30
until
days.
30 days.
Yeah.
But then it comes back after like 30 days.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Because Wonder Woman 84 is already back
And
on there.
that again is just part of the test, right? Let's see if people go to theaters after a month or something.
but I just loved all these characters. Like I hope I could almost. I just like looked at this photo that the YouTube viewers will look at, and I could almost see an enjoyable spin-off for like every single person.
I
Like,
know. Yep. Yes.
that
I
I would
agree.
be completely okay with. Like I said, Ratcatcher, throw in Taika Waititi, whatever. Bloodsport and his daughter get their own show. Bring it on.
Yeah.
A whole weasel show about how the hell he got to be a weasel and what he is. Done.
Yep.
So, or I mean, even some of the people that died earlier, like Pete Davidson, I would love to see. Pete Davidson's hilarious. I would love to see him. And
He gets a whole show
I think
just about him.
His comedy is like perfect for this environment.
Yeah, it fit just fine.
But Polka Dot Man was not my MVP though, for real, and Peacemaker as well.
Nice, dude. Good reviews for both guys. I'll go and throw mine out there and just get right in the review. I'm a 3.7. I loved it. I I'm with you for sure. I see spinoffs everywhere. The whole time I was watching this, I'm like, I see why they did Peacemaker, and I see how that's going to work. And I think like they could do that with literally any of these. I see what happened with this movie, and it really gets me energized and really hopeful about what could happen with DC. Like you look at what was tried to be done with the Justice League, and it was so bad that they had to remake the whole movie and make a different version because they just couldn't figure out how to make the Justice League cool. They couldn't figure out what to do with Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and then guess what James Gunn did? He took 15 people you like never heard of or know next to nothing about, and all of our gals love this movie that don't watch DC stuff. Something special like really did happen. Like this is a movie that I'll watch this over and over and over. On the rewatchability, it's up at the top. Like you said it. Like we watched it 2 times. We watched it 2 times in 4 days, just because we wanted to again. And if you're on the fence out there about seeing this thing on IMAX, I'm definitely gonna push you over the limit to go do it.
Yes.
And we owe a big thank you to Chris Killian from comicbook.com. That tweet kind of is what got that jump started.
Good call. We owe it to him as well. And Ronnie's. Love Ronnie's. I will always go to Ronnie's.
Hell yeah. Ronnie's, Fandango, Chris Killian, everybody that made it happen. But yeah, man, 3.7, DC movie that like it was hyped up so much. If any expectations were too high that a movie could have been set up to let you down, this was that movie. But instead, it exceeded expectations.
It really did.
In my mind. Like problems with it, if I had to nitpick, like I think John Cena and like I liked him as the movie went on more and more. Like by the end, again, that fight scene with Rick Flag, I'm like, this is a scary character. I want to know about this anti-hero. But the beginning, he's very John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I kind of would like to see like the shitty characters more, like TDK.
Yeah,
That'd be
TDK.
funny.
That outfit.
Yeah.
His powers. I just love how like his arms aren't just detached, like his bones are showing.
Yeah,
You can see like the blood inside.
just a little bit more. I'm not saying a lot more, but it was just that scene was so crazy and so funny that I wanted more of it.
Well, here's some good news for you. Carrie caught this in the second watch. Doesn't look like he's dead. Looks like that whenever they showed a screen afterwards of deceased, that his was still lit up.
Really?
And if you think about it, they never shot him. They just shot his arms. And they're shooting his arms in midair, and he's over on the ground going, "Ah!"
He was just
honestly
shaking.
cracked my shit up when they're shooting his arms and he's just reacting to it, like thriving all around the ground. But they did show him like bleeding out. But I guess while they were showing most other people that were dead, so you could be right.
What's TDK stand for?
It's
my name. It's like, but what do the letters mean? Every name has letters.
That's good. Then it wasn't his name though. It stand for the detachable kid.
Yeah.
Ratcatcher too. I thought that girl was great.
Yeah.
She was
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable. Like I wanted to see more of her. She just stole the screen. I felt like all the time. And like what a power! Like I had this magic wand that controls rats. Like the little waving Sebastian. He's
Yeah.
just waving at everybody.
Idris Elba was great.
He was.
That
That suit was so
he's just
awesome.
good. He's good at
just
everything
like
he is, but he showed up like in like this was a different character for him.
Mhm.
Like he was like kind of like the character from Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw a little bit, but like
that's what I was thinking.
a little similar, but like funnier for sure. Like whenever Peacemaker said that joke about showing off, and Idris Elba was like, "Fuck, that's true." All right, guys. I think we got it. Anything else you want to add on this thing? I think it's an all-around win. I don't know if we talked about it, but it is. This is from today. 7.6 on IMDb, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. Dropped a little bit from that 100, which I guess over time you're just gonna get it.
I think 7.6 is a little low, but I'm not gonna nitpick.
74% on Metacritic. I agree. For an IMDb, there's superhero movies that do better than that, and I feel like we're proving it right now
It
that
should be in the 8s.
you don't have to be a superhero movie to see this. If you're asking yourself who this is for, I mean, if you're gonna watch it with your kids, it's a hard R, so get ready for that. But your kids got to watch this eventually because this is just a fun movie.
Exactly.
All right, man, that's Suicide Squad. You can find this along with, I was also going to share some other folks out there, what they thought online, some of the people that we follow a lot. We already gave a shout out to Chris Killian for getting us to go see this on IMAX. This is the tweet that got us to do that. We got a little combo. You can go follow Chris Killian at Chris Killian on Twitter. Also from the comic book family, Brandon Davis, of course, went and saw this. He got to see an early premiere. And this is just the very beginning of his post on Instagram. You can go follow him at Brandon Davis BD, but in all caps, the Suicide Squad is insane. Wow, it's just wild. Totally agree. And then from the Facebook group on Facebook, the Mostly Superhero Squad, Kenneth in there, one of our recent new members, gave a spoiler-free review. Mind-blowing visuals and jam-packed action sequences. Hoping to see more of these in the DC EU. And I totally agree. This is, that's kind of where I was going with it before, is getting excited about spinoffs and stuff. But really, I get excited about thinking about James Gunn and Zack Snyder, like maybe getting in a room together.
Like, crazy to think about.
It is, because like you don't know exactly what would happen, but if you could somehow mix this mesh of like, one, you don't want to break anything James Gunn is doing, but like, how would you apply this to like a Batman movie? And would that even work? And like, would it be cool? Would it like not be cool?
I've said it before on the pod. I'm fine with them having separate things and not connecting.
You're always saying that too. I know.
And this is a perfect
I
example.
agree.
Like, just let it stand on its own.
Let it stand. We don't need to have 27 continuous movies. It's great. It's crazy how they do it.
That is the
But
big,
like, what if?
that's
Like, that's not fitting for us. We just talked about that today.
But we got this Peacemaker show.
I just don't see Peacemaker and Batman, the Batman movie, in the
Cross the paths?
same universe.
I
I mean,
mean,
maybe this
It's
is
hard to think about. That's
maybe
my-
this is Earth 2 or Earth 1, whatever they call it.
Did you know that there was a script that James Gunn considered about just the Suicide Squad taking on Superman?
Yeah, I did see that.
Come on, Henry.
I mean,
Come back to us.
how
That's awesome.
I can't even picture it because
Maybe
of the
two.
DC stuff we've seen.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
I think DC is going to give James Gunn the keys and just say, hey, we trust you now.
I hope they do, man. I
Me
hope
too.
they see what they're doing here.
Well, they gave him a Peacemaker show, 8 episodes.
That's true. Well, exactly right. They said, you know what, we like this already, even before the results of the release.
Yeah.
All right, guys, the Suicide
wild.
Squad. James Gunn nailed it. Go see it. You can find this review along with any of our other DC reviews at mostlysuperheroes.com/DCU. Go check it out. We'll keep it updated and we'll give you a prize of what we're hearing in the DC world. With that, let's talk about what's coming up. Wrap up the show here. Nice little Wednesday here with the boys. Monday, if you're listening, Sunday on Patreon. Coming up, as always, MCU, pending any delays. I don't even want to put that out there. I know. What If is here. So one episode at a time. You can count on us talking about it for the next several weeks. 9 episodes of that will keep you apprised. Shang-Chi, 3 weeks, September 3rd. We'll be seeing it. And then the next thing is the Eternals. Keep the MCU train moving as always. And that's it. All we got for coming up. We'll do What If next week. And we need to pick a meet so we can think about it. I'm out of town this weekend, going to Michigan with the lady to see her parents. Can't wait. And I'll be thinking about it, but we need to brainstorm. We don't have to decide right now.
Okay.
And if you want to find out what we're watching, you want to know ahead of time so you can plan for the episode, get in the Mostly Superheroes Facebook group, and we'll drop it in there once we decide. Giggler, let's start with you, man. How'd this go for you today? What was your favorite thing we talked about? I'm just kidding.
I really loved What If. It's probably my favorite
Oh,
MCU
man.
thing so far.
Be honest,
I'm only kidding.
Be honest. What If kind of let us down, huh?
Yeah. Maybe we could do something where like fans decide what we talk about next week. Who knows?
Like a fan nomination?
like a poll, maybe.
Y-
Just throw some
if-
of the DC movies on there that we're thinking about watching, and just go from
Because
there.
DC, we're not doing it in order.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. Not at all.
I don't really want to watch 5 straight Supermans.
Yeah.
No,
I think I need a break from those.
we decided we're going to bounce around, and you know what? We will always take fan requests, but yeah,
Let's put something in the squad.
put something in the squad. I'll
We'll
do
say what DC movie, because we've talked about first 2 Supermans,
it. Mm-hmm.
and we've talked about Batman and Batman Returns, right? That's it.
That's it, really. I mean that, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Suicide Squad.
And we haven't talked about the Bale movies.
Nope.
We haven't talked about Clooney's.
Nope.
Kilmer.
West.
West. Why not? Why not West? I like that idea, Andy. We'll put
Let's
something in
put
the squad. PC Mike, any words for the squad before we take off for the weekend?
Ah, man, I'm just happy DC put something out that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll give it up for that.
DC Mike
About time.
DC Mike.
in
Hey,
his house.
if DC Mike is saying that it's the best that's been out from that, I mean, it's true.
Wonder Woman's really good. I mean, the first Wonder Woman.
The first one, not the recent one. '84 was pretty bad. But then, like I was saying, the best thing that came out before this was the Snyder Cut. And even that is just like
Yeah.
its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best since The Dark Knight Rises in 2012. 9 years.
That's a good call.
Spot on. I'm glad it lived up to the hype
Mm.
too, because it could have been one of those that like, hey, listen, yeah, you made 20 different posters of this every week. Who cares? It sucked. It didn't. It was awesome.
We've talked about it. I've been pumping it up for about a year. Now that you have HBO behind you, now that you have all this movie does well. Peacemaker, TV show greenlit. We got the new Titans coming out that I think is going to be better than the first 2 seasons. I think DC found something with HBO.
Yeah.
And they're going to take it and run with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Because I'm not going to lie, the first 2 seasons of Titans were kind of hard to get through.
Well, and those were DC Universe. You're totally right. You got different people coming in. And also you got Doom Patrol. You got other stuff
I
on.
need to go back and finish that.
And that's great. And you talk about wacky, like definitely like would work with a crossover with characters from that and this. You could do something like that for sure.
There's a teaser for that released the other day. Did you see that?
Oh, for Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I just saw like a poster or something though. I didn't see an actual teaser.
It's like a minute. It looks it's gonna be good.
Well, and it was a big cliffhanger in season 2 because they had to wrap early because of the pandemic.
I forgot like what's even happening in the show other than the cliffhanger. I was like, I don't remember what's going on with anybody, but the teaser got me pretty jacked.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about if we're gonna like rewatch some of that, or maybe just rewatch the last couple episodes or something.
Yeah.
Either way, though, Doom Patrol will be on here. We'll be talking about that. DC's here, man. They're showing up, and the Suicide Squad's obviously reignited a spark in us. And we'll get in here and keep you apprised of it. You can go subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com, guys. We appreciate you. And new episodes every Monday, Sunday on Patreon. And call that damn studio phone, 754-CALL-LOG. We'll be watching for messages. We'll be watching for you in the Facebook group. And we'll see you next week. You guys take it easy.